And good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning,
Hello.
Callum.
Good morning.
How are you doing? Is anyone there?
I'm good. I mean, it feels like it's the weekend because we're on a 2-day bank holiday this week. So Wednesday was Friday, yesterday was Saturday, and today is Sunday. But yeah, it's very good. Very good. Thanks. How's your week been, Marcin? You work with the UK, so it must be kind of quiet too.
Yes, mainly with the UK, but thanks to this longer weekend on the UK side, I had the chance and time for catching up on the things that were outside of this relationships. So I very enjoyed that. We had the National Children's Day as well, as possible as it was international, I presume, as well. So we very enjoyed that with my children. And yeah, very good week, very effective week, and we have a lot of sun right now, so that means that the weekend might be really interesting as well.
Yeah, we've had great weather, and fingers crossed that this can hold out for like another week or so, because Code Garden in the sun, unbeatable.
Yes, exactly. And as we are talking about Code Garden, I will just try to decrease the quality of my camera because I still feel like I'm lagging.
Yeah, you are lagging.
So
we thought we'd fixed this a few weeks ago. Marcin is the only person in the world that is using Firefox nowadays. So that the umbraCoffee episode can be smooth, and that somehow managed to fix it. It was Edge or Chrome that was causing the problems, and still, it's not quite so.
And these are the challenges we're all facing. We should be focusing on recruitment. We have a lot of barista CVs received week by week, and we don't have even time to review them. So
I don't know where they're getting the email from either. It's not like we publicized the email address
anywhere.
I don't know. One or two a week, probably. maybe not, but a few a month. Baristas applying for jobs, and very detailed CVs, like with photographs and all their experience certificates proving that they're qualified.
Couple of really experienced people as well. I don't know if we shouldn't open any kind of recruitment agency or something like that for baristas and just push them further and ensure the quality of the coffee in between. We'll think about it. But yeah, we've mentioned Code Garden, and of course this is standard June's countdown that we want to start with. Is it Code Garden? No, it's not bad. We have just 11 days and 19 hours and 20 hours almost till the start of the event. So what means there's a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of interesting things happening. We see more of the things from behind the scenes, and there's also a competition which we mentioned last week, and we want to start with it because Matt Bradsford shared an amazing entrance to the competition, I would say, with his woodwork done for Niels when he was living.
I think he's done better though. If you maybe scroll down on this thread, there's a somewhere
Lego.
There's some great entries from people doing Lego ones, but yeah, that's it. Matt has done a Facebook and Instagram Code Garden filter. So with your eyes with the Code Garden logo. If you open your mouth, it spills Code Garden hearts everywhere. And as of about 5 minutes ago, it's available on the I don't even know where you would install an Instagram filter, but on the store, wherever you can download those, it's available. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, Lars Erik made also a screensaver using the wallpaper engine. I didn't even know that something like this exists. So that's amazing to also learn and explore thanks to the competition. And it will be tough. Also, Arnold participated partially because we don't know if he is not excluded because of his close relation to HQ, of course. But it looks amazing. And I don't know what about you, Callum, and the rest of the people who are watching today, but always when I see this kind of activity, it's pumping the atmosphere, and it's exactly something what I think it was made for. So we are all and this one I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, cutting the heart into the grass. That's quite nice.
We need to put and push our creativity to a higher level, and I'm sure that we'll be able to still submit some entrants if they are still open. I can't remember if it was limited. It was limited till some of the days, right? The kind of official participation, but I can't remember now.
I can't remember
either. But yeah, that's the one of the activities that we can follow, and looking forward for more interesting inputs. The second activity is the secret stage started by Owen, built with the Lego figures and interesting observation questions were around some of the people joining the stage from the figures store. And that's such an amazing thing. I haven't seen it, and I completely missed the fact that we can customize these people so much.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly. The people with their names on the t-shirts and that sort of thing. I mean, some of the kind of heads and the faces, I guess you have to choose one of their pre-built ones, and they're not always a perfect match, but it's quite funny. You can see in some of them who is supposed to be, which is really cool. And I think that more arrived after the long weekend, because a load of people on Twitter have said that they've submitted theirs too.
Yeah, but I like the fact that it also already relates to the branding and the new Umbraco store with the blue hoodies, and I presume that this is Campari, so it's all related. So that's kind of that's really exciting. And again, everyone who cannot participate physically or online can join the secret stage. And I believe that a lot of people who also can participate also join the secret stage. So just do it. And if we're talking about swag, I shared something what I mentioned also last week.
CG rumors.
And CG rumors, CG22 limited edition of something what might be related with some baristas that are passing through our our emails. But who knows? Who knows? And of course, we are still awaiting a lot of great swag and things to be ready till Code Garden. So 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Indeed, not long.
Coming back to software, then we have some new releases from this week to discuss, and we can start big from a really amazing update from Patrick around his CEO toolkit package. That was demoed. I can't remember the number of episodes
a few weeks ago. But this is a few weeks ago. I think even on that episode, we were discussing how he wanted to improve the UI of that the metadata experience, which lives in the doc type editor of all places. So he was there. He was wanting to tweak that, make it a bit more intuitive, and it looks great. He's got a nice inline preview there with the kind of how it's going to look. Yeah, it looks really, really cool.
Yeah. Plus robots.txt validation that was also mentioned then. Nice. So everything like that. Plus this kind of preview is something what I know that editors are really interested in, and a lot of people who just want to see how it will look. So we have a really strong competitor in the CEO packaging packs. That is really interesting and growing fast. And by growing and reaching out more, we can also mention this 2.0.0 version alpha of package for targeting Umbraco 10. What means that it's getting also there as many other packages.
There's a lot of people here who are getting their packages ready for V10, and it looks like out of the gate we're not even going to have that sort of short window with V9 where there was only a few, but it looks like we're going to have quite a lot of packages available out of the gate with V10, and we're talking literally 2 weeks away now from launching V10 as well. So it's good to see.
It's getting there, definitely. But something new also popped out this week, a package called Node Defender. And it's interesting. I like the description. It's a no-nonsense approach for defending nodes. So configuration-based approach of selecting and configuring the nodes that are might to be protected more from content changes, from being deleted. So generally, I remember a lot of discussions like this when people said, okay, if we have a site configuration node, what if the new editor comes and tries to delete it or do something wrong with it that can break the site, etc. So I see a lot of use cases for this kind of configuration. I'm just curious how it can be used, let's say, for really making changes around these nodes or anything like that, right? Because homepage, for example, was mentioned here.
It seems to be all of the kind of create, delete, move type actions that it's covering, which is probably the critical things. But it would be nice to see if we could restrict whole nodes down to saying this person or these roles cannot edit this node. I have a funny story on this. Of course, this package by Sean is great. It's for V9. We have seen packages before as well that do the same or similar things in V7 and previous. And on Wednesday, we launched a site that we've been working on for donkey's years. Marcin, you'll know about this. I've said before that it's been
long
nearly
awaited.
launched for 6 months, but it finally launched on Wednesday. And 20 minutes, and I kid you not, 20 minutes before we were like, okay, switch the DNS, let's go. A content editor, or someone with CMS access, who had been on leave, I think maternity leave or something, for a long time prior, went into the CMS and deleted about 15 nodes. They didn't. I guess they didn't really know what they were doing, and these nodes were 100% critical for the site to actually run. And so we then suddenly get all these panic messages from the client going, "What's happened? Like we're getting errors everywhere." It's like, we've not done anything. We've not touched this. And I go in and I have a look, and yeah, lo and behold, the recycle bin is full with these nodes. And I look at the audit trail, and we can see exactly who's done it, and that's fantastic. And we restore it, and it's all good. But then discussions instantly went to, how can we stop it happening again? We need something to protect these critical nodes happening. And I think it's probably the case in a lot of people's sites. How many people have a settings node, or maybe a login page, which is a node that really always needs to be there, or a register form, or those sorts of things that you'd never want to be deleted. So we were talking about this. This package is perfect. We'll install it as soon as we can.
But it also has the second side of it, right? Because what I try to also always do, but it's done either better or worse sometimes, it's like to prevent site from crashing when something like this happens. And in theory, of course, we should be thankful for this kind of actions, because they prove that we might prevent the code or execution or website from crashing when something like this happens. And even the site configuration is not the best example, but generally whatever can be prevented should be prevented. But this kind of package can shorten the and maybe increase the insurance level on our side. That, okay, even if things like that happens, we can stay on track. So yeah, I like this approach as well, and I think it might be used by many people who wants to configure it like that. So yeah, one to be explored. And you've released two new releases this week. So tell us more about them.
I did 4. We got some others coming up as well. But yeah, search extensions, a little quick bug fix, which I have to say on this is it's been broken since V1 or V1.1. There was a very purposeful thing where I changed something that just never should have been changed, and we were trying to work out in the team why this ever happened. It was completely wrong. So I fixed that. And then there's a V2 version as well, which is for V9 and beyond, which is cool. Finally, because the approach I've been taking with updating packages here is when we need it and when it makes sense, I'll do it. But like we've not been hugely proactive about updating things to say V10. And there's still a few of my packages that are hanging around waiting to go. So we'll I'll try and work on those. But yeah, it's more of a
they will be ready when they will be ready, right? That's the thing.
Exactly. A few people ask me as well about things like the facets packaging, and that one is really interesting because Lucene.NET 4.8 supports faceting out of the box, and you don't need all of these external libraries like Bobo Browser or anything now. In fact, they don't work. So the question of, is it going to be updated? Well, the answer is kind of no, but it might take on a new life because the idea of it was to make the APIs cleaner and friendlier and simpler. So if at the point I come to implement facets, I decide, we can. There's some ways we can make the existing APIs cleaner. We'll do that, but it's not one of those things that can just be ported or updated. It's not a natural journey for that package. So.
Yeah, but also thanks to the fact that it was simplified in the native implementation of it. So that's this kind of approach. But yeah, really good stuff. And as you've also proved, there is a lot of approaches of migrating packages and also creating versions of packages from V9 and beyond. I have noticed it already a lot. A lot of people started work for packages that are only V9 plus supported. So. And that means I think in overall in the long term in LTS approaches, etc., it means like we will have a lot of more concrete and better packages that will stay with us longer, because we don't want to play this game of multi-targeting framework behind the scenes.
I've got an interesting thing coming up. We can maybe have a little chat more about that because it's something that's been playing on my mind this week as well.
Let's discuss it later. But another one was on super value converters, right? And that's also two new releases of that.
One for V8, one for V9. That's one where I'm still maintaining both versions because we're using it on both. I know other people are as well, so it kind of makes sense to have it on on both places. And this was a contribution from Nick, so we're just retargeting changes that people make back to either branch.
Nice.
I think probably we'll continue doing this for V10 as well. Like for a short while, for certain packages, we'll probably end up seeing 3 active versions of a package there.
And still, as we discussed it multiple times as well, something like this might be really cool conversion back to the core. But if it's there, if it's like this, it's already great.
This package has just become smaller and smaller and smaller over the years.
Yeah, exactly.
More of it has gone into core, which is great. That's what we want. Yeah. I know Seb started a discussion a few weeks before V9 came out saying, how can we get as much of these sorts of things into core? It was a little bit late, I think, for the kinds of sweeping changes we want to make, but yeah, it's getting there. It's really getting
there. Yeah. Soren also made a tease of his work for the doctype grid editor package for, we can assume, that version 10 of Umbraco with RC4. But yeah, and I saw a lot of discussions about it, because Lee even asked Soren that it's supposed to be the end at V9. But now it seems like it's still needed, and it's still something what I consider as a must-have package when it comes to dealing with grid editors. So yeah, why not?
Hopefully for Soren, as he says, for him, it's like when he needs it, he'll upgrade it, and that's fantastic. So as long as he can keep upgrading it easily, that's fine. I guess whenever we get, say, a new grid or something like that, this then will die and become redundant. So hopefully is the upgrades kind of simple for him, and then but I even had a client the other day say that their site was unsupported because they had doctype grid editor on it, because they'd learned it was a V8 site or something. They'd learned that doctype grid editor had been sunset, but I guess it's still being developed, just maybe not evolved. It's just upgraded.
And here, big kudos to Soren for keeping this updated and also maintained, because even this week I mentioned this package for probably 2 or 3 agencies or teams that might need to benefit from it. So, and I can't remember if it was about this package, but I'm still surprised that some of people are not going this way by default. So it means like we need to brag it more and maybe share it more, that it's possible, and what are the benefits of using it. And I saw a lot of great use cases for doctype grid editors in the wild. So kudos to Soren for releasing this one. And Nathan also mentioned a new release of Plumber. So 2.1.5 with bug fix for email generation mutates in the active workflow. Still, I haven't catch up on the Plumber 2 that much, but it was mentioned for me a couple of times recently that it has a lot of things that were requested by some of the potential customers. So fingers crossed to finally be able to use it. So great work from Nathan here on keeping it also updated. And Callum, package-wise, you've asked a couple questions to community.
Yeah. So this is just.
Are you satisfied with these answers?
I think so. I'm still a bit I think by the time I tweeted all of this, I'd sort of decided in my head what I was going to do, but I was interested to hear what the community wanted. So I've said here, how should we be, firstly, targeting dependencies for Umbraco packages? Should we be saying, well, V9 is the minimum and then there's no maximum, meaning you can upgrade it to V10, but it might all break as and when you try and run it on V10? Or do we set a maximum at V10 and then say every package that I manage, I have to go through and update, even if there's been no breaking changes that stop that package working, I still have to go release a new version, which one of them gives you a lot more control and also an opportunity to make breaking changes should you want to. But the other one is possibly a lot less work, and maybe it's a complete overthinking if you're saying we need to target. Up until now, I've been saying V10 is the
target.
Is the upper target. I think with V10, I'm going to set my upper target at either the next LTS or possibly, depending on the package, I'm going to set it to be V13. So like a upper end of like one before the LTS, because it's not that much harm to review, or maybe 12. So every year I'd need to update the package rather than every 6 months. I don't really know. Not a lot of the stuff that I'm doing will impact this. The one thing I will say, of course, is the the roadmap is sort of public now, so they kind of show you what's going to be worked on and when, and therefore you could decide, well, I'm doing something that touches something that they are, so I'm going to set the maximum version as the one before, and for other packages you just leave it open-ended. If it's an AngularJS back office one, you're probably safe for a very long time, aren't you? Historically, I've never put upper limits on my packages until I built V9 packages, when I then set V10, because I didn't know what to expect. But now I feel a bit silly if I put that there.
But from one perspective, you can try to prevent it. But imagine or remind yourself how many times you installed some of the NuGet packages that were completely broken on some of them.
That then tried to upgrade Umbraco for you.
Umbraco is one thing, but I'm speaking generally, let's say NuGet wise. Again, sometimes as a package creator, you can aim to prevent users from this kind of potential issues. But still, I would say that it's on the user or the developer side to validate partially if that works or not works, and assuming that we have some kind of dev environments or ecosystems to test it, we should already know that, and the rest is documentation and communication, I would say. But again, there are things that you don't know. So how you can prevent it or how you can limit it, it's still a tough choice, and I would go with no upper limit, to be honest, and then pray.
That's sort of what I'm thinking. That's sort of what I'm thinking. In most cases, unless I'm doing something particularly crazy with something internal, but and then it follows on to my.
You can always put this limit in place, right? You can always put this limit in place when you will have reports that everything crashes, from the version this and that. Then you can prevent someone else from exposing this.
Matt has a great point in the chat here about upper limit being the next version +1, because they've guaranteed a minimum of 6 months warning about something being removed, and it will be obsoleted first. So that should be okay. I think that would work in most cases, hopefully. The other question I then asked was about versioning of packages, and should we be tying package versions to major versions of the CMS? Lars Erik chimed in here with a fantastic opinion, which was about, well, packages should probably control their own semver, and I agree. There's been a few packages that decided, I think at Umbraco 8, in fact, decided to ship a version that was tied to the CMS version. But I don't think that makes sense. Usync is one that comes to mind, of course. But maybe that's an exception. I think, I'm all for controlling our own semver, which means you could release version 3, which now requires V10.2 and requires a CMS upgrade, and that's okay. I'm also thinking on multi-targeting. I'm actually thinking of changing my view a little bit on this, depending on the package. So for V10 packages, where we've kind of got a lot of the breaking stuff out of the way, I think I'm going to try and multi-target from V10 onwards for as long as I can. So if I can set my support range to be like, from 10 to 14, I'll try and multi-target all of those versions if possible. And then for the stuff beyond that, maybe do another one. So between LTSs, do multi-targeting. But then none for 8, none for 9, and leave those kind of where they are was my idea. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. It's been something I'm pondering. I know that Matt really working through similar breaking change issues with V10 and how they support that with vendor and construct and other things going forward. So.
But what I observed in this area particular, and I exactly your tweet made me think about it. It was like people got used to some of this around some of the packages. So either all of them are following that, what you cannot guarantee, of course, or you can go with your own ecosystem, what you are in control of, and what makes you feel happier with releasing the packages. And right now, when we were talking, even let's say ecosystem-wise on top of the Umbraco, so it's like versions doesn't matter that much anymore, right? It's like it's just the next version. So your package is your work, and if it's something broken or major or generally the breaking change, you are upgrading your major version. It might be a breaking change in your code, completely independent from Umbraco major versions, right? So and that's the thing, and hence then if you have a version 10 of your package and you're introducing the breaking change in your code that will stop all of your package users from working on the current version, should you stay with V10? I don't think so, right? Yeah,
exactly.
So
My personal opinion would be that anyone that has chosen to align with the Umbraco versions has slightly shafted themselves, because
indeed,
they will hit if they can't change from that. This was the discussion that was had around the Umbraco package versioning, wasn't it? Before V9, was that going to be Umbraco CMS V1? Of course, they've changed the package namespace, so that's okay. That was their way around it, but people still stuck to the major version being the same thing because it made sense. But yeah, imagine USync one day needs to deviate from that, and suddenly we've got a really confusing set of numbers. I don't know.
But there is easy solution for it. Just keep everything as a minor change. But then you are not Semver. So it's same with all the other naming conventions
you
or
think
nomenclatures.
9.1000 gone.
So either it's Semver or not a Semver, and that's the thing. It might be simple in some of the perspective, but of course it's not that simple when it comes to real life. Hence this discussion. So that's really good to have them in place, and if it can help, share your opinion, people, and your experiences and expectations, maybe from the consumption level of the developers-wise approaches, and it will be really helpful for all of the people who are struggling with making any decisions around that. And one of the opportunities to discuss that might be umbraCo discussion and exchange of knowledge with Paul Seal and the people who are usually participating in this form of discussions. The next one is on Tuesday, 7th of June.
Yeah, this coming Tuesday.
So yeah, as it's kind of loose format discussion of everything umbraCo, technical, non-technical, and basically everything. Feel free to join and maybe exchange the ideas of that. So yeah, Paul is inviting everyone, and it's still online, still kind of Zoom driven, so everyone can participate.
I guess this is probably one of the only few meetups that will happen this month as well, given Code Garden slap bang in the middle of the month. I know we're not going to be doing a London meetup this month because it's just no point really. And I don't know about some of the ones later in the month. Australia are doing one, but I guess not too many of them are able to make it over.
Yeah, I was thinking on reborning the Norway Oslo meetups with Lars Erik as well at some point, but then I thought, still wait for a Code Garden, and then we'll have more topics to discuss probably along the communities. So yeah, this is happening, and maybe umbraCo can be also used to discuss the agenda and schedule for Code Garden. What to watch next, where to go. Good to have this kind of synchronization point in place. And 3 topics from the last list straight from umbraco.com website. And the first one is the announcements of the CMS community team that was collected recently. And until my website will load here, Callum, you can tell more.
Yeah. Seeing a white screen, or is it you as well?
No, it's just me in my browser.
I can talk
so Callum, you can. Yeah.
So I'm on the CMS team. This was something that they put out as it's not really like the other community teams where people are doing kind of active, weekly or semi-regular calls, but it's every couple of months they'll get the team together, and it's more of a sounding board. So we actually had a meeting this week already. They maybe promised I wouldn't leak anything, so I'm not going to. But the idea was they showed us through the roadmap for the coming versions and kind of got our feedback, and we had some really great discussions about some kind of more pragmatic approaches to some of the things they're wanting to do. Also, we saw the roadmap for the next 2 years the next 3 versions, and we were thinking, this is a lot of work, but actually it's only end of next year that we'll have all of that. So that's really not that far away in the scheme of things, especially when you consider that V9 kind of took that long to make, a year and a half or so, and we're going to have so much more evolution in the next 18 months as well. So that's quite exciting. The team there's a lot of people on there, so I'm not going to be able to mention all of them, and I can't remember who, but people like Nurhak, Franz de Jong, Heather,
Soren Kottel,
Paul Marden, Soren Kottel, loads and loads of people, which is good.
So many people that my website browser crashed.
Yeah. The browser completely crashed. Lovely. For the Eagle Eye people, if you saw the blog post when it came out yesterday, I did manage to leak something in the blog post, and it had to be edited and changed within a few minutes of it being posted. But Here we go. There's Ken Jacobson in there. There's a really great bunch of people who have a lot of experience with the CMS, people who are very passionate about driving that core product forward. And we had some, as I say, very good pragmatic conversations about some of the things that they're trying to do. So quite exciting. We'll leave the link down below if we can't share it here.
Of course.
Not the end of the world.
We will share, and I will try to do it on Firefox in a second, because it looks like the page is not responding. So we either blocked the Umbraco website or something else happened, or it's just purely my Microsoft Edge browser is down. It works Firefox, so I'm kind of becoming a Firefox ambassador now.
You're one of the only people in the world still using Firefox, I reckon, Marcin. I know for a long time.
I should be definitely an advocate.
There was developers who used it because they swore by the dev tools in Firefox and said they're the best thing in the world. But I've just never been able to get my head around it. I think once I had a problem with my Mac and I took it into the Apple Store, and the guy there tried to convince me that Safari was the only thing I should be using. And it's like, it is fast, but if you've ever tried to do any development in Safari, it's an absolute nightmare. Don't try.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
So if you haven't seen Firefox, this is it. So that's the thing. I don't know why I have it installed still. So Soren Kottel, Franz Dehan, Ken Jacobson, Michael Biggs, Paul Morden, Heather Floyd, Jason Protero, David Harlow, Callum White, who's
me,
that?
Apparently.
And Nurhak Kaya and Matt Bliss. And that's all. And we have two stewards from HQ, Bjarke and Lasse, who will be keeping an eye on the team and its progress. Great team, as I've mentioned. I saw it on one of the LinkedIn posts before. I've noticed it on the Umbraco blog. Fingers crossed for everything what can be echoed through the team, and as it's usually mentioned to the community teams, it's not just team who works for that. And Callum, you've been a good example of kind of grabbing a voice from the community, collecting some polls, outputs, and then you will be probably also a bridge in between of HQ as well and some of these communications. So fingers really crossed for everything done by the team.
There's some really exciting stuff coming at Code Garden. That's all I can say. Like they're going to announce basically everything that they told us the other day at Code Garden. So should be good. Should be good.
Cool. Another one, announcements from the Umbraco HQ perspective this week was the Umbraco Awards nominees. So through all of the nominations collected and sent prior to this selection, there was selections made for 3 in each category. So 3 top selections from each category from various agencies here. A lot of mentions from various known agencies. Callum, your agency also was nominated here.
Yeah, we've managed 2 years in a row. We've managed to get a nomination, which is amazing. All we could ask for, really. Like it doesn't matter if we win at this point.
Exactly.
Like having a nomination is the most important thing. So.
Same for us at Novisel. We've been also nominated, and it's a huge accomplishment already because we know how hard it is. And I also messaged to Umbraco HQ team at some point that I know how hard it is because it's so many great nominations. One year I was kind of helping in reviewing some of the nominations. So many great. And that's why I'm so excited to see all of these projects, all of these highlights from various agencies, and all of the categories. It looks already great. And Edge was the one who was mentioned multiple times.
There's a few who mentioned multiple times.
Yeah, there's a few
appear in the list of things here. I have to say, I'm not on the jury. We've nominated. We're nominated for something, and of course, I think ours is the best thing in the world. But I've had a look at all these sites on here, and I have a favorite, and it's the Aardman website by True, which is nominated in 3 categories, I think. And I have to say, it's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's lovely. It's really fun. Marcin, don't try. It's going to crash your browser big time. It's got all this 3D animation stuff on it. It's really, really lovely site. But
okay, later then.
that is my personal favorite site on this list. It's really,
I must admit that I need to check. I need to check this project, but also I'm awaiting the Code Garden Awards ceremony, and also ceremony will be streamed live, so everyone can watch and not being even present in the venue, but usually, and I presume Umbraco will do the same this year, is like to capture the highlights from the submissions, then try to extend it with some observations from the jury, and yeah, that's why I'm kind of awaiting, because not everything is seen, especially.
Who was the jury? Because I didn't see this when the post was initially.
I haven't seen it as well. So yeah, Alexandra from Profilic North, Carla from Blend Interactive, Martin from Umbraco, Daniel from Charlie Tango, and Anders from Umbraco as well.
I do like how they bring in people from partners as well, that to kind of review the other work, and it's a peer review as much as it's Umbraco HQ, which means there's not really any room for HQ skewing things a certain way, like, oh hey, they used hardcore or whatever to do this. It's quite good. So very cool.
So again, fingers crossed for everyone, and really looking forward to announcements on the Code Garden. And last but not least, a new hire in Umbraco HQ team, Sile, who joined the Comma team as a copywriter, straight from Odense. An interesting find from this blog post for me was Sile was always dreaming about working for Umbraco, and now it's done. So that's kind of good success story of just determination, of being willing to work with the specific company. Yeah, if you want to know more about Sile, this is the blog post shared by Umbraco HQ. And yeah, we will probably all see a lot of more interesting stuff done by Comma team and Sile inside of it, around the copy and everything what we share on umbraCoffee as well. And that's all from our list today. So yeah, I've managed to crush Firefox as well.
Yeah, it turns out, to answer the question in the title, is anyone watching? Yes, people are. We don't need the UK.
21 people. But we have some people from UK, maybe finally being able also to join us outside of the normal routines at work. So thanks for that. If you are here for the first time, we are aiming for getting 1,000 subscribers in the next 2 weeks. So
we did gain one a couple of weeks ago, Marcin. I think it was 750 now.
We are on track then, right? On track for reaching 1,000. If you don't see the red button down below, that should be grayed out for you. Make it grayed out, and like, subscribe, share to your friends, colleagues, family, whoever else can help us to reach out to 1,000 subscribers. Who knows? We will maybe then open the baristas stage or baristas recruitment agency. And we need it. We need 1,000 subscribers to do it. So leave like if you are subscribing, leave like underneath this video, because it helps reach us to more people like yourself. And yeah, we're counting down to Code Garden as usual.
Let us know in the chat if you're going to be there, because we'd love to say hi, and we're going to have some umbraCoffee episodes and some other cool things to do. So yeah, it'd be lovely to meet more people.
Yep, and if not, we will of course see each other on the next Friday as usual. So see you there, and everyone, have a lovely weekend ahead, and enjoy the long weekend in everyone in the UK and everyone else outside.